Hi everyone, in today's video we will tackle an essential Python coding problem, finding the maximum of three numbers. So let's get started. The goal of this problem is simple. You will input three numbers and the program will determine which one is largest. For example, if you enter 5, 12 and 7, the program will output 12 as the maximum. Now that we understand the problem, let's dive into the code. So in first step we need to take the inputs from the user. For that, num1 equal to float of input of enter the first number. We will copy paste, like we need three numbers, so num1, num2 and num3. For that we will change to num2, then this to num3. Enter the second number, enter the third, enter the second number and enter the third number. So then in this here we are using the input function to take three numbers from the user. Since the input function returns a string by default, we are converting it to a floating point number using the float function. This allows us to handle both integers and decimals. Step 2, we need to find the maximum. So the code will be like, if num1 greater than or equal to num2 and num1 greater than or equal to num3, the maximum will be num1. Like that, if num2 is greater than or equal to num1 and num2 is greater than or equal to num3, then the maximum will be num2. Else the maximum will be num3. So what we did is, we use an if statement to check if num1 is greater than or equal to both num2 and num3. So if this condition is true, num1 is greatest, so we assign it to the variable maximum. Next we use an elif statement to check if num2 is greater than num1 and num2 is greater than or equal to num3. If this is true, then num2 will become the maximum. Finally, if neither of these conditions is true, the else block assigns num3 as the maximum. This ensures that one of the three numbers will always be selected. So now we need, the next step is to display the result. For that we use the print function. We will print the maximum of num1 comma num2 comma and comma num3 is the maximum value. So finally we use the print function to display the result. The output will clearly show the three numbers and their maximum. For example, if the inputs are 5, 12 and 7, the output will be like the maximum of 5, 12 and 7 is 12. Let's see how. So there is a indentation error, so let's see what Okay, so the result is enter the first number, enter the second number. So we got the output, but let's make a small adjustment to improve the user experience of our program. Currently all input prompts appear on the same line, which can be a bit confusing for users. So to fix this, I am adding a new character hash and # at the end of each input prompt. This ensures that each prompt appears on a separate line, making it much clearer for the user to follow. So I am in every line. So after it, here's how the code looks, and now when the program runs, the prompts will appear neatly on separate lines, improving the readability. So let's run and see how it's work. Yeah, it's work. So the first number will be 5, second number will be 12, and third number will be 7, and the maximum of 3 number is 12, which is correctly given. So let's test our program. So now I will input 10, 20 and 15, and the result should be 20. So let's check whether it works. The program correctly identifies 20 as the largest number. Let's try another example with negative numbers -5, -10 and -1. Let's run this. So even with negative numbers, the program correctly identifies the largest value, which is -1. So let's quickly recap the concept we used in this program. We used the input function to take user inputs and converted it to a number using the float. We applied comparison operators like greater than or equal to check which number is the largest. We used an if-else structure to ensure only one condition is true and to determine the result. That's it for today's video. We learned how to find the maximum of 3 numbers using Python. So if you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more coding tutorials. Also let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions for the next problem in this series. In the next video we will tackle another exciting Python problem, so stay tuned.